Echo anymore, Dom.
Okay, and I heard one on Anna, but not on Joyce, not on you. So, all right, we are not the smartest guys in the room. We like to prove this week after week. We try new. It's not even April 1st. We had this idea. What is today's date? We had this idea to on April 1st do a whole show where there's no where we just be like, can you connect? Can you connect? I can't hear you. So this was not our April Fool's prank. This was just me and Tom proving we are not the smartest guys in the room once again. So Alexandra, what's going on? Joyce, Anna, Debbie, hey, Brian Swift. Let's get this room a bumping. That's what we call it. I guess we could call it bumping. Is that a cool thing to say? Me and Tom were talking about these 15-second videos, 30-second videos, minute videos. Like, can there be value in a 15-second video? Can there be value in a 30? Is like some people would be like, oh, I don't make a 15-second video. That's beneath me. Or I only make 30-minute. Well, that 30-second video I just saw has 20 million views and got its point across. I noticed that even media companies seem to be making more TikTok style commercials on television. Like I'm watching NBC and now you'll see people holding their phones like this in the commercial, or you'll see the lady from Lume. I don't know what Lume is, like some soap or something like this. The owner of Lume. Have you seen her commercials, Tom?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so anybody on the live stream, so this lady from Lume, she's like the founder of Lume, a soap company or something like that. And the commercial is basically her like up this close to the screen talking about like, hey, you can put this deodorant here, you can put it here. And like, it's completely real TikTok style, but I would guess if somebody wants to look it up, what the value of Lume is right now, and she's the founder doing those videos on it. It's almost like she took a piece of real or TikTok content and played it on the air, like on TV or something. So Tom, what say you as somebody who's spent 30 years in media producing commercials and working on shows? Is there value in the 15-second video, the 30? Is there a purity that people are missing? What do we need to know?
So it depends. First of all, I've been in production for 22 years. Just to be clear about my age. And also it drives me nuts when people include like their like school as part of their sort of like time in their professional career. I saw somebody recently who was like, I've been in production for X number of years, starting when I was 14. And I'm like, you were not working as a professional in production when you were 14, right? Like, I'm sorry, you weren't. Like, if I'm going to include that, like I've been involved in, like in visual media since I was in middle school. But like, that's not professional experience. I was taking photography classes as a kid, right? And I took my camera everywhere and took crazy amounts of pictures. But like, anyway, side rant. Sorry. I saw that yesterday and it just kind of drove me nuts because I was like, it shouldn't count as professional experience, right? Anyway, all that said, there is no like, everybody wants an answer to these kinds of questions, right? Everybody wants a yes or no, black or white, up or down kind of answer, right? They want either it's good or it's bad, right? Because everything is presented to us in sort of these polarized terms, right? In this polarized context of like, is it good or is it bad? Should I do it? Should I not? And the truth is that just like life, most of the answers are, it depends, right? That we exist in the gray area in between black and white, and that rarely is it a very clear-cut yes or no answer. So should you do 15-second videos? Well, it depends. Like, what's your end goal? What's your target demographic? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you trying to reach people? What platforms are you using, right? All of these things matter. when it comes to making a decision about what kind of content you should put out and what platforms you should put it out on. So I always say platform or platform. Hello. Duration of video, right? Attention span, essentially, for your audience is platform dependent, right? It's contextual. So if you're going to make, if your audience is on TikTok, then you want to stay on the shorter end, right? You want to be, under 3 minutes for sure for TikTok, but typically you want to be under a minute or around a minute, right? You want to be a minute or less on Instagram. For shorts on YouTube, you want to be well under a minute, right? For reels and stories and things like that on Facebook or Instagram, you want to be 15, 20 seconds, right? So it really depends on where you're going with it and who you're trying to reach and what your sort of end goal with the content is. That really determines, the duration. The flip side of that is, if you are trying to grow a YouTube channel, 15-second videos is a terrible way to do it, right? You should be posting much longer form content if you're trying to build a YouTube audience. The best performing duration of content on YouTube is around 17 minutes, right? Between 15 and 20 minutes in length, right? So you should not be posting 15-second, 30-second videos to your YouTube channel, right? You should be posting much longer form content to your YouTube channel, because attention span is platform dependent. People go to the platform with the expectation that they're going to see a certain kind of content, right? And when you go to YouTube, you expect to see longer forms of content. You go to Netflix, right? Or you go to Amazon Prime Video, or you go to HBO Max or Disney Plus, or whatever the case may be, Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, whatever, right? You don't expect to see 30-second videos on there, right? Nobody goes there to watch 30-second videos. You go there to watch hour-long episodic content, right? Or movies. So, this whole idea, this notion that people don't have attention spans anymore, I call bullshit, right? People have attention spans. It's just that attention spans are platform dependent. No one's going to watch hour-long content on Facebook any more than they're going to watch 15-second long content on Netflix, right? Know who you're catering to, who you're talking to, and use appropriate content for the appropriate platform, right? So that's the very long-winded way of explaining why it depends as to whether or not you should use 15-second, 30-second, 90-second, 5-minute, 10-minute long pieces of video content.
Tom, but so I want to come back to you on that. So as somebody who's 22 years in the business, can a message still get across in that 15 seconds? Like you, when you're out working with your companies and things like that, would you tell them 15 seconds, you can't get shit across? Or would you say, hey, and on this platform, hey, I'd say spend some time on it and go for it?
So if you're trying to get a very simple message across, right? A very clear, concise, straightforward message, right? Then yeah, you can deliver a very clear, concise, straightforward message in 15 seconds, right? Can you get into nuance in 15 seconds? Absolutely not, right? It has to be a message that does not require context. So can you do it? Yes. But again, it depends on what the message is, and it is not universal, right? So like if you have a difficult to explain message that you're trying to get across, you can't do that in 15 seconds, right? I think a good way to sort of create a way to sort of judge if you can get something across in a very short form piece of video is, can you condense it? Literally do this, right? So you have a paragraph on your website, or a paragraph that explains, part of what you do, right? Or part of your business, or one of your products, or something like that, right? If you have a paragraph somewhere that explains those things, here's what I would challenge you to do is distill it down to one sentence, right? One sentence. Can you distill that down to one sentence? And is it still clear, right? And unambiguous? And if the answer is yes, then you can probably deliver that message in 15 seconds, right? If the answer is no, then you should be looking at taking the time to make sure that you're not undercutting yourself by trying to cram 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag, right? Trying to cram too much information into 15 seconds. 15 seconds is real fast in terms of video content, right? It is real quick. So it has to be clear, it has to be concise, it has to be a sentence or less. And if it doesn't fit that criteria, then look to use longer content, longer form content to get there. So I hope that answers the question, but that's kind of how I would go about it.
All right. Hey, no, appreciate it. And I figured let's dig into this because I'm a big believer in taking that first step, whether it's a podcaster, making videos, writing, like your first post that you write, your first video that you make, rather than try, like some people all of a sudden will be like, oh, I started a YouTube channel, but I don't know how to make an hour video. Well, shit, that's a lot of pressure. But I would think you could do 15 seconds. I would think you could do 30. I would think you could do a minute and you could build on that. So, this is not the smartest guys in the room. Anybody who was in here earlier, I was in an echo chamber. Tom was in an echo chamber. Everybody in the room was in an echo chamber. It was very odd. So if you want to listen to the replay, you'll have some weird first 5 minutes. But this is not the smartest guys in the room. We're going to talk about the value of 15-second, 30-second, minute videos. Should you do them? We're going to talk about bandwidth. Like, how many apps do I need to be on? Should I be on more? Should I just be on one and do it really well? And then how many times can we reshare and repurpose something? Is it enough, or like, can I share it again? Well, it's good. I believe in it. Why not share it on Tuesday? Why? Like, I watch a commercial or a show, or I've watched Goodfellas 200 times. Why can't I share something again? So Joyce, we're coming around. We're going to get Joyce, Julia. We see producer Jimmy, Heather, Ahmad, Brian, P. Swift, Alexandra. So we're going to start this conversation. If you want to share a tip or ask a question, go ahead. But those are some of the things we're getting started with. And we could end up talking about fried chicken or cobbler. So I apologize in advance on that. So Joyce, what do you got for us?
Good morning. So I guess I'm a long form content creator because I'm a podcaster, and I am now learning to do reels, which is interesting, which are very short, 15 to 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and they're all sort of geared. Anything that's short is on Instagram. These are reels on Instagram. I don't post them anywhere else because I can't get on TikTok because they banned me because I talk about cannabis. But they're short and they're to drive traffic towards the podcast, which is long form content. So that's kind of where I am on this, I guess. That's it. I don't have anything else to add.
No, that's good. And what you said there, that was almost like piggybacks on what Tom said. You were very clear on why you're doing it. On this app, I'm doing this. I can't do it over here. And ultimately, I'm a podcaster. So I would guess the reels and everything, are they all eventually trying to push people to the podcast or push people to the overall brand?
Yeah, pushing them towards the podcast is about the women I'm interviewing, the women across the country, around the world who are building this new industry. I really had never thought of me as being the person whose face needed to be out there, but I've learned I have to be out there. It's all sort of part of the brand. So I am learning to make, talk towards the camera, have people see me, engage with me as a human, as a branding part, I guess. And then that connects that to the podcast, which is about the stories and elevating these women and talking about how, cannabis is working for women for health and wellness and how it can, really help women my age and older, find some kind of healing because we have so many things that aren't working. So that's like a bigger issue, I guess. But yeah, I'm using it to get attention.
Right. Isn't that what it's all about? Get your message out. So well done, Joyce. Julie, as a media creator, as somebody helping publish books, as somebody working with new storytellers, do you encourage them to do video? Do you have people that are like, I'm not doing it because it doesn't work. I'll never do a video. And you're like, oh, why wouldn't you? So I wonder, is that something you have to battle?
Hey guys, yes, absolutely. I think people get in their own way and they think, oh, I don't look good. I'm not I don't have the right lighting. I don't have the right backdrop. I mean, just do it. Try it. Especially if we all know as entrepreneurs and creatives, it's so hard to keep your messaging alive. And anything that captures the attention, anything that connects with one person in your potential audience, I think is amazing. And it's also understanding your story and getting that as detailed as possible in the shortest clip that you can, because I know Tom said that he doesn't believe in like the limited attention span today. Maybe it's not a limited attention span. I really feel we're just inundated with so much. It becomes overwhelming. So be as powerful as you can in the first 5 seconds, because just like if you're writing a book, and Dom knows this, if your first line doesn't capture the attention, heart, soul of your reader, you lose them. And I think that's so important. So thanks, guys.
Actually, can I ask about apps? We didn't get to that.
Go for it, Joyce.
So again, I get overwhelmed by a lot of this, and I am a mom and I have boundaries. So I have put my own boundaries on. I really only focus on Instagram and LinkedIn at this point. I can't seem to engage in Clubhouse just with you guys, really. So that's where I am. I guess, Julie, as the marketing person, is it better to be focused on a few and really be doing it well, spread across multiple platforms so people can find you? What do you think is working better for people?
You're awesome, Joyce. I know that feeling of boundaries. You know, I lose my boundaries on social media all the time. I think I would ask you first, where's your audience? Is on focus and consistency. So where is your audience? Who is your audience, first of all?
Oh, is that my next question? Yeah.
Yes. I'm very vague today.
Hey, Julie, you cut out a little bit there, so we'll give Joyce a little bit of
I am on
forgiveness.
Right now, so that might be why.
That's all right, because we started in an echo chamber today, so we forgive you. But go on, Joyce. Who's your audience? Where are they at? Go on.
My audience. So I am professional. So I'm really focused on LinkedIn because that's where I want to connect with people at a level who are not just engaged in the industry, but women who are looking for health and wellness, who are like me, who are type A's, lawyers, doctors, people who may be in a world that wouldn't even consider cannabis and would see me. So I'm focused on LinkedIn to get those stories across. And Instagram, I am focused on because it seems to be the place where I get more attention for reels, and it does seem to be drawing people back to the podcast. I think my audience is probably more on Facebook as well, but the truth is I was never on Facebook. I always felt I was too busy, like during that era when people were on Facebook. I never got engaged. So I've been told there are women like me, that's where they go, but I can't seem to get there. It's just one more thing I can't engage in. But I think that's where I am. But the LinkedIn is really, I think, where my people are.
Well, and when you say people like me, I'm not sure you actually want to surround yourself with people like you in terms of marketing. You want to surround yourself with people who want to be like you.
Yeah, I guess people who are a certain age, who are professionals, who have grown up with this, stigma around cannabis, and that's, scary and kills your brain cells, who can see me because I'm like them and can understand that this may be something that is wrong, that maybe just opening up that space and maybe they can open it up and see maybe there's something that could work for me.
So I think and I'm getting a red bar and I'm trying to figure out where I'm not getting a red bar. So just interrupt me if you can't hear me. Just the whole idea is that you answered your own question. You said LinkedIn is where my people are. And I think talking about cannabis on LinkedIn is a little more cutting edge because there is that taboo, if you will, around cannabis. And I'm from Illinois, so it's legal here. It's legal in Illinois, but it might not be in every single state. But just telling people like the benefit and being an advocate for your story and how it's helped you and connecting with people, I think the answer is focus on LinkedIn. Do it really, really well. And do always look back at your analytics and research and insights to see what's working and what's not working, because you can learn a lot from what's working and what's not working. And don't dismiss the insights on all these apps because it gives you a view into what you're doing, who you're reaching. So thanks, Grace. I hope that helps.
That's interesting. Go on, Tom. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Joyce.
Well, I wanted to jump back to what Julie was saying before about attention, and you're right, Julie. So there's a distinction to be made between attention, vying for attention, and attention span. They're two different things, right? So we are inundated with a higher volume of content than ever before, right? And that every day we raise the bar on the volume of content that comes in front of us, right? That crosses our eye line, right? That we are hit with. So there's a very clear difference between competing for attention and attention span, right? And I think a lot of people conflate them, right? So competing for attention is difficult, but once you have someone's attention, people have the ability to pay attention to things, right? For long periods of time. And if that wasn't true, then none of the streaming platforms would be finding the success that they're finding or continue to produce hour-long episodic content at the rate that they are, right? Hour-long comedy specials are more popular than ever. Hour-long fantasy series, right, are more popular than ever. Game of Thrones, right? The most watched television show in history was all hour-long episodes, right? What was it? 9 seasons, right? Of like 8 episodes each, 8 to 10 episodes each. I mean, it was like almost 100 hours of television, right? Of content to get through. It was the most watched series in television history, right? So
if I may chime in, Tom, to be fair, to your point, to continue your point, it's because the content was solid. So I think a key to keeping the attention, no matter how long, is the content has to be solid. Sorry, I just wanted to make that point. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Jamie. And also, just complete aside, really nice to see you. Haven't seen you here in a long time. Really glad you're here. Missed you. But yeah, exactly. Quality, right? And the content appealing to your audience is incredibly important in keeping attention, right? But people have the ability to pay attention. This whole myth that people's attention spans have gotten shorter is not true. What's happened is there is more competition for individual attention than ever before, but attention spans are the same that they've always been. So I'll rest the mic there.
Okay, I'm dying to chime in on this on Joyce, just on this. So cannabis on LinkedIn. So let's say Julie mentioned that in her state it's legal, some states it's not. It is now legal, millions of people use it, whatever. But my question is, you have to be so concise and clear with your messaging on LinkedIn, because so many people are in business, so many people are getting drug tested. I would wonder, I would bet you have a lot of positive viewership. I would bet that if you, like when Julie said you look at the analytics, I would bet your views are out of sight, and then you probably don't have, you may have like thousands of likes and things like that, but I would bet the comments and stuff are not one-to-one, or because is there still a portion of the population that can't admit they like it, that can't admit on this professional platform where their boss might see what they liked? Oh, they like Cannabis Mom, they're following Cannabis Mom, they're commenting on their stuff. So I would wonder for you, could you, that content that you're putting out, if you're able to explain, like my friend Michelle, who has the most severe Down syndrome and epilepsy and things like that. I wish, Michelle, if you told me that she could use some kind of cannabis oil and it might stop a seizure so she doesn't have to fall down or something like that and hit her head for the 1,000th time, man, would that be interesting to me. So if you can position that cannabis in other ways, that this woman that was in pain, this stopped her pain and things like that. And
so those are the stories. I mean,
yeah, right. And get to the mainstream like that. Go on.
Stories are, again, I grew up in an era where I believed it was going to kill my brain cells, and I am pretty smart. I went to law school. I did my thing, so I was afraid of it. Just like, whatever. And it was a misunderstood story. But these women I'm talking to have almost universally come to this cannabis out of desperation, which is the saddest part of the entire story, because it doesn't have to be something that comes out of desperation. But they have come out of it because they lost all other recourse for healing themselves and found that it worked for them. So they're evangelized and they're out there doing it. And these are women who have healed, themselves or someone they love, going against a lot of other medical advice that was being told to them, and could feel their own bodies. It's kind of that mind, body, spirit thing. So yeah, these stories are real. And the epilepsy children, pediatric cannabis, this is such a scary thing for canna moms. You can literally have your children taken away. So, if you're a desperate person trying to get some healing for your family, and you hear another person who has gone through it, it's good to have that person. So the women I'm talking to are becoming the people they needed because those people didn't exist. And that is the power of the stories.
Thank you, Joyce. Keep up the good work and keep sharing your story. And you're trying to help people, and that's all any of us can do. We try to make a difference and things we believe in. So let's not the smartest guys in the room. You hear what we're talking about. So some people say I should reset the room. So Tom, do you think I should reset the room and talk about what we're talking about? I think that needs done.
Did you say, should you talk about what we're talking about?
I mean, just say what we're
feels like
talking
an
about.
easy answer. I think generally speaking, yeah, we should talk about what we're talking about.
Well, talk about what you're talking about. So I have to say, so my mom has had Alzheimer's for about 10 years, and she hasn't known me for about 6 years. And I go visit her, and it's one day, like, I'm at the home, and she doesn't talk much anymore. And we're sitting there, and I'm like, Mom, you ever feel like you can't do anything right, and your kids are yelling at you? And I'm like, what do I do? And my mom goes, you do what you do. And like, out of nowhere, you do what you do. And I'm like, wow, this is the most clear thing. Thanks, Mom. I was like, so like, here it is 2 years later, and she hasn't said much more than me, but that day, you do what you do. Okay. That's what we'll do, Tom. Okay. Reset the room. Here it is. We're talking about 15-second, 30-second videos, 60-second. Is there value? Should I be on one platform or the other? Can I be on too many platforms? Do we have that kind of bandwidth? Okay. Alexandra, we're going to you. I don't know that I've met Alexandra before. Screenwriter, neurodivergent, she, her, queer. I'm going to read the full profile here. That's what I do sometimes. My passion lies in writing stories. Ooh, I'm interested. Okay. Alexandra, ask a question, drop a tip, go where you need to go. Go on.
Well, here's a tip. If you're an actor who's doing a podcast, podcasts are now covered by SAG-AFTRA. So if you do the independent podcast agreement, then you become SAG eligible. Just a shout out there to SAG because they're awesome like that. But yeah, I'm just here networking, talking to people about podcasting because I'm getting into that space. I have an audio drama that I'm doing. It's also known as narrative podcasting because that's what I do. So I'm writing for a new medium, and it's really great. Jimmy actually and I had a really good talk on Friday about it. So yeah, I'm just really here listening and soaking up the knowledge right now.
Perfect. Well, you came to the right place. Go on, Tom.
I was just gonna ask Alexandra. So I'm also in the early stages of development on a really interesting narrative podcast hybrid kind of thing. It's hard to explain, and I don't want to get into too much detail because we're early stages on it right now. But I'm curious as to how you're finding. I'm really excited about it. I think narrative audio dramas are a really interesting medium, and I'm excited to explore it. I'm just curious how you're finding the medium and how you're finding sort of the reception amongst folks as you're working on your project.
I found it to be overwhelmingly positive, actually, because people are like podcasts, whether it's narrative or nonfiction. The processes are pretty much the same. You just have a couple extra steps when you're doing narrative. You have to find the cast and everything like that. But everyone's that I've talked to has been really great, really insightful, willing to help. I don't know if you guys know Simona Constantini, but I'm actually working with her. She's got a product, a podcast manager in a box. So she's actually personalizing it for my podcast right now. We're signing the contract for the work today, and I'm excited about it. You know, I talked to Jimmy. She helped me with a lot of stuff in terms of my crowdfund for it, which is great. And then Mark Ronick is helping as well. So he's awesome. And then I'm also part of Podcast Pros with John J. Wiley and Johnny. I don't know what I don't know how to Johnny Pica, I think. The podcasting.
Yeah, Johnny Pica.
Okay. And then Sean Savage. So I'm in their rooms every Tuesday and Thursday. And Sean's been really insightful too. And then there's Sean Dustin, who is just amazing. So the podcasting community has been really accepting to me and my narrative podcasting. So I think you'll find a positive reception as long as you come from an authentic place and you're just telling us like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I could use some help if you need help. But yeah, overall it's been positive.
Very cool. Yeah. It's I think it's an underexplored medium, and I think there's a ton of interesting possibility there. So I'm actually really looking forward to this project, and we got some cool stuff going on. Partnering up with some really interesting folks to create something that it does not exist in the space right now. So I'm super excited for it. But thanks for your insight and your feedback there. Appreciate it.
Hey, nice to meet you, Alexandra. Hey, okay. Now, Mr. Swift, I'm going to ask you a question. We started off talking about 15-second videos, 30-second videos. So you make videos. I'm just going to put it right out there. Brian doesn't talk about it much, but Brian's C5, C6 quadriplegic. He's out making videos as well, writing books, making videos. Brian, it can't be easy to make a video. So for somebody that is struggling to put themselves on tape, how are you able to record? And I mean, can you tell us a little about that process and just maybe some encouragement for anybody else thinking about making a video?
Sure. I for those that are afraid to put themselves out there, I think they need to relook at their why, and hopefully their why is bigger than their why not, because the way I am, you know what I mean? Or I don't think I look this way, or I'm not a professional speaker. I mean, those things don't have to be. You don't have to be a professional speaker. You don't have to be, a beauty king or queen to be out there. I think what you have to be is original. You have to be authentic. I think that's so key. I think you have to be a little bit original. You know, what's your thing? So for me, the wheelchair doesn't ever stop me from doing a video. It's more the technical end, because my hands don't really work well. So setting stuff up, or, for me, the best way is to have somebody around that'll just flat out video it for me, whether it be on my phone or wherever, whatever device we're using. Having that set of hands for me is kind of crucial. I know they make stands and there's a lot of things you can do, but it's more the physical end. Getting out there is just, my why is way stronger than the fact that I sit in a wheelchair, or that, I'm not the, I got a face for radio or whatever. I think you revisit your why, and that should be way stronger than almost anything that's prohibiting you from doing a video. I mean, a video is just a conversation with a friend. That's the way I always view it. It's your message, something you would tell a friend, something you would tell a family member, something you want to get out there that you feel is helpful and beneficial. And I think you're doing the world a disfavor by not putting that out there, because, like you used to say, Dom, everybody writes a book, has a story, and that story is going to help someone. and we don't always know who that someone is. A lot of times we don't. You might be writing a book to help a certain, niche of people, and find out others are reading that book and it's helping this group that you really didn't think about. So tell your story, get it out there. I guess there's no downside. I don't see any downside to getting your story out there. We're not professionals. So, I mean, if we're not being paid to produce TV quality videos. And until you are, just keep getting out there. If the dog barks, the dog barks. If the dog runs behind the video, that, in my opinion, that's okay. The doorbell rings, the doorbell rings. It shows you're authentic. It shows you're real. I'm complete.
Can I just say real quick that you're on such a lucid, well thought out role there, Brian. When you said if the dog barks, I literally thought you were breaking into a metaphor. I thought you were going deep philosophically on it.
Thanks, Jamie.
I want to tell you guys, I posted a video yesterday. My friend Harry Spate, who used to spend some time on Clubhouse, you got to check him out. He wrote a book called Selling with Dignity. So I love when people open their books, and that moment, I want to show, document what's going on. So Harry opens his book at his house, and he's talking. He's like, here they are. Here's my books. Nobody's whoever's recording doesn't say anything. He's like, oh, and the crowd goes wild and kind of being funny. All of a sudden, the dogs start barking like crazy. Dogs start barking. Then his family realizes that maybe they should chime in, and they start hooting and hollering. And and Harry's like, and the dogs go crazy. And here it's been, I think it might have been a year and a half. I'm telling you, this moment of Harry Spate with him opening the videos, 20 years from now, dogs barking, like Brian said, it is going to play. He caught that moment in all its purity. Awkward silence played. The dogs barking played. Harry liking the books played. I'm telling you, it's so. And I do it, Tom. I get in trouble for it, and we used to talk about this cutting all the time in videos. I would cut, and edit down. It was 30 seconds of everything, clip. And then for a show that I do, I would cut, and they're like, what are you doing? Keep going. And then one day I was on with a guy that was in a comedy group and a woman that toured nationally on I don't know what they call that when it's not Broadway, but they tour. I think it's called the national tour. And we're doing a show. And at one point I would have stopped because it was really goofy, and neither of them stopped. And I saw, besides Tom always telling me, don't stop, just record. Like Brian said, the dogs barking, all that. It's good. When I saw them, two that were had been professional, and here I would have cut. I'm like, I saw it so clear. I was the rookie, no more cutting. On the show must go on until somebody punches me and says stop. I'm gonna keep trying to go forward. So that's what I have to add to that. Just go on, Tom.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly, Dom. I know we've had this conversation both here in this space and offline as well, in just conversations between the two of us, that here's what you're doing when you over edit yourself, right? So we have this sort of crazy notion that anything we put out on social media or on media more broadly has to display the most perfect version of ourselves, that we for some reason believe that the audience expects perfection, and nothing could be further from the truth. The audience doesn't expect perfection, and they won't connect with it because they know that they're not perfect. What they will connect with are people who say once in a while, people who pause to gather their thoughts or have trouble thinking of the right word, which is why when I have trouble thinking of the right word, I just say, man, I can't think of the word that I want to use. Right. And then I move on. I say right way too much. I know I do, but I don't try to edit it out because it's how I speak. It's idiosyncratic to me. It's part of what makes me authentically myself. And that's what people identify with. They identify with authenticity. They identify with your flaws, your foibles, the cracks, right? The things that make you who you are, right? Perfect is impersonal. Imperfection is what makes you who you are. And that's what people identify with. That's what endears them to you and allows people to empathize with you and to understand what you're saying. And so it is incredibly important that you include those things in the content that you put out, right? There's a reason why we all love, I bet you everybody in this room loves watching outtakes from their favorite shows, right? Why? Because it humanizes the actors for us, right? It shows us that they're imperfect, right? It gives us attachment points, right? That we can identify with and empathize with, right? They're funny, right? Generally people laugh and laughter is contagious, right? But it's for those reasons that we really enjoy them. So don't over edit yourself, right? I have a policy on my podcast on something good, that I don't edit it at all. It is live to drive, right? So whatever comes out of my mouth in those episodes, the only time I've edited it was twice I've edited a chunk out of the middle of an episode. Once was because I had a random sneezing attack and I didn't think anybody wanted to listen to me sneeze in their ears in the middle of the podcast. And I had a random coughing attack another time where I got something in my throat and I just couldn't stop coughing. And I didn't think anybody wanted to listen to me cough, right? So I edited that out. But that's it. That's the only time I've really done any editing on that podcast whatsoever, other than sort of the intro and the outro and putting music in and things like that, right? But not ever removing stumbling blocks or me saying or things like that, because it's who I am. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I am super far away from perfect, and I'm okay with it. And I want people to identify with me for me, not for some fake pseudo perfect version of me that I try to put out in front of them. Right. So don't over edit yourself. Just be who you are. Be, as we like to say in here, right? Be relentlessly authentic. So that's what I think.
Good stuff. And that's a lot of pressure trying to be something you're not, walking around or trying to create this false persona. Somebody without a false persona. Producer Jimmy. It is nice to see. Producer Jimmy owes me because I watch all of her TikToks and stuff. I've got her so many views. She's probably getting paid from TikTok, paid from Reels, all because of how many times I watched her beauty, the tips, her in the bus line. I see it all. her at Podfest story. I'm all in, Producer Jimmy. So welcome back. Anything you want to add to this? But I do want to add, Producer Jimmy, I want to just ask, because we enjoy seeing you and we're so glad you're here. You are the best. Are you on Clubhouse less in general because you're so busy with other stuff, or are you around? I wonder that, because me and my friend David down there were talking someday. There's so many people like Harry Spade or Producer Jimmy that used to maybe have daily shows and things like that, and we don't see as much. And we love them and want to consume their content. So you have to answer that too. Go on, Producer Jimmy.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. It is phenomenal being back in the room with you guys, and great seeing everybody. And yes, Alex, I totally loved our conversation the other day. It was fantastic. So the reason I took a break from Clubhouse was because I took a break from everything, social media wise, everything, because for about 2 to 3 months, I had my head down because I was retooling what we were doing as a company and how we were servicing our clients and everything else, and how we were leveling up. And we had a whole lot of team meetings, and then we gathered together for a team dinner, which was so much fun. And I kicking myself, I didn't take a picture, but I just had my head down. And then wanting to also retool. So business, the podcasting services, also setting up my workshops that I was going to be bringing back. So I just wanted to make sure that I set those up solidly. And then my other main focus was gearing up for season 3 of my show. And so there was just a lot of me having my head down, be hyper focused, don't spread myself too thin. So when I show back up in full force. So that then just as I was ready to show back up in full force, guess what happened, Dominick?
Oh no, come on, do tell.
My websites went down. Both Flintstone Media and Florida Podcast Network went down, and it took 3 or 4 weeks, and it was the most maddening experience. And just when I thought everything was gravy after like a week and a half, they went down again, and it took us forever to figure out that they were infecting each other. So it's so I just as I'm ready after all this work to say, here are the workshops I have, and here are the new service packages we have, and here's the new show content I have, and it was, I couldn't do anything. I felt like a horse stuck in the stall, ready to go, and I couldn't with a dead website. So finally it's back, and so finally I'm back in Clubhouse and doing all the things. And so thank you for asking. I'm really loving this conversation, especially because I'm pretty sure Dom and you as well, Tom, perhaps Brian, you've heard this too, maybe, but I was really afraid of video for a long time. I was very happily audio only, proudly audio only, but there was just a lot of my own personal internal shit that I had to deal with and heal in order to get comfortable. And I'll be completely transparent. Like this might shock you, but there were about 3 or 4 years where I couldn't even look myself I couldn't look at a mirror. And it's not because I had an issue with myself. I just had a hard time seeing myself on screen or reflected back. It just made me super uncomfortable. And go ahead, Brian, did you want to say something?
No, I can appreciate that, because with sitting in a wheelchair, they always put those damn mirrors up so high. It's been a while since I've been able to look at myself too. And it's,
Yeah, I can totally feel you on that one. My goodness. That's another level of it for sure. But it took a while, and it took a lot of internal figuring out why I had this issue. And I was able to resolve how to get back on course and how to figure out how to find my confidence. It was a mindset issue. I literally flipped the switch one day and I was like, I'm doing this. And so I decided that I was determined to have season 3 of Podcasting Your Brand be on video. I was determined. But I knew I had to get comfortable getting there. And part of the reason I was determined was because I have my own personal goals and reasons why I wanted it to be on video. But also, I have to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I have to continue walking the walk. Like I try out all the types of podcasting. You name it, I've done it. Live, 12-hour live broadcast, mobile podcasting, like everything, because I want to be able to say to my clients, I've been there and done it, and I understand the experience. So there are a lot of reasons why Podcasting Your Brand season 3 had to be on video, but I had to get there mentally. So it's like, okay, let me see what can I do that's a small bite. And so this is all coming perfectly timed with YouTube leaning into podcasting and leaning into shorts. And I thought, well, I've been enjoying doing, reels and things like that, but not usually with my face. Like if you scroll back 6-9 months on Instagram, you don't see me anymore. I disappear. But now I'm all over there because I started doing these shorts, and I thought, well, let me just do a tip, and let me see if I can do one every day. And let me not put too much pressure on myself, but let's see if I can. How's it going to feel after a week, and then 2 weeks and 3 weeks? And I was like, this is really easy. And as I saw myself, as I was forced to process myself on screen and see it every day, I got a lot more comfortable, and I was able to sit down in that chair and record that first episode on video. And it was still uncomfortable. It was still nerve-wracking, but I did it. And I'm really, really proud of where I am. So I'm embracing videos like crazy. And it's so funny when you were talking, Tom, I was like, my videos are unedited. Oh, well, almost, because there was one time my cat knocked something over. Stop. But otherwise, my videos are unedited. And now, because of how comfortable I've become, it's translated, it's even seeped into my audio version and how comfortable I am there. It's the same recording, but I'm editing that so much less. I've become much more confident in every way, shape, or form. And I think the video was both the cause and the cure for my insecurity. And it's just been a wonderful journey. I'm just so excited. So one thing I was going to mention really quickly, I was actually talking about this with my boyfriend last night, because I was thinking about how it's so funny. It's like this dichotomy with me. I've always been extremely comfortable on stage. Put a microphone in my hand, stick a nickel in me, shove me on stage, and I'm good to go. That's my element. I love it. But I was always so uncomfortable on video, and I always thought that was so weird. I'm like, so I was explaining it to him last night. I said, why is it that I'm uncomfortable when no one's in the room, but I'm very comfortable when thousands of people in the room? And he nailed it. He said, Jemmy, it's because you know that when you record that video, it's out there for people to see forever, and you never know what their reactions are going to be. But when they're in the room with you, it's one and done, and you get the reactions and you move on. And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. When I record video in my head, I'm thinking that thing's out there now. It's lingering like a fart. If it's bad, and so what do? I had to get over that, and he nailed exactly the reason why I was in that uncomfort zone on the video. So anyways, it was a long ramble, but I hope that serves somebody. And I'm so glad to be back. I'm complete.
Thanks, Jemmy. I was going to say, I wanted to applaud you for getting on video, because I know you've talked about in here before how uncomfortable you were initially with that, and how kind of bigger hurdle that was for you to get over. And so I wanted to just take a moment and applaud you for doing that. And also just to reinforce to everybody else here who maybe is a little bit, has some trepidations about putting themselves on camera, getting on video. You heard Jemmy talking about it. She took the time, she practiced, right? She put herself on camera, and ultimately she got comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And accepted the fact that, she was going to put her best foot forward, and maybe that wasn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. Right. I think we often get caught in this trap, and it's what drives us towards this like fake, perfect notion that a lot of people strive for when they create content and create video, is this idea that whatever you do, you want to try to appeal to everyone. And what you have to accept in order to get over that hurdle is that you are not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I have no doubt in my mind that people have come into this room, heard me talking, and have turned around and left, right? I am not everyone's cup of tea, right? And that's the way it is. I am okay with that, right? And that's what you have to do in order to kind of get over that hurdle and to get comfortable being uncomfortable, is you have to accept that not everyone is going to love you. And that's okay. And I just wanted to applaud Jemmy for getting over her fear of being on video, for going forward with it. I have watched a whole bunch of her videos on TikTok. I think they're great. I think she does a great job. I love that they're unedited, and I love that is bleeding over into her audio only work too, and that she's getting more and more comfortable being authentically who she is, right? Rough edges and all, just like we all should be. We all have rough edges. I've got more than my fair share, right? We all have rough edges, and we need to embrace them and be comfortable with who we are and put that out in the world. I promise you that while you may not be everyone's cup of tea, you are definitely going to be someone's, right? People will appreciate you being authentic. So
Yes, but I
Drink
don't
me
want to
up,
be a
baby.
cup of tea.
Sorry, what was that? Jemmy, what'd you say?
I said, drink me up, baby.
I love that. What were you saying, Alexandra?
I say, but I don't want to be tea. I want to be hot cocoa.
That's cool. Then you be hot cocoa. You be hot. You be somebody's hot cocoa. There you go.
Be you. That's how we do it here. I wanted to say, I'm producer Jimmy. It's funny. Me and Tom both saying we watch your videos. I'm watching. I'm a person. I hate to say it. I always feel like I got 15 seconds. I got 30 seconds. This is the time I have. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to give that 15, 30 seconds. And I'll give you 15, 30 seconds. in another room recently, we asked the question, what made you listen to the last podcast you listened to? What made you buy the last book? And I didn't think the answer would be like, and now maybe my pull in the room at that time could have been swayed, but we'll call that our, what would we call that when you have what is that called? Come on, what's that word? When you have so many people and you do our think tank, or I don't know. Anyway, so we have
bias. Is that what you're talking about? Bias?
Yeah. Like, do we have some bias or something? I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, we asked, why did you watch the last podcast? Why did you buy your last book? Almost everybody in the room was like, I watched a video on social media. I watched this on social media. I saw it on social media. I'm thinking like, did they get something in the mail? Did they get an email? Did a friend tell them? It was like social media made me, I saw something and then I bought. I saw something. So sometimes we'll have people that don't believe in it or don't think there's value in it. And it was a room where they were like, it was even more than I thought. I was like, whoa, I need to step up my own game, because like they were like ravenous that the only way they were choosing to listen to a new podcast or buy a book was based on this video. So that they could have been biased, but quite interesting. Okay. Not the smartest guys in the room. Okay, we're heading on. We have a friend, Heather, Ahmad, Dr. Tachi, Caleb, and Johnny. I'm mad at Johnny because he doesn't like John Wick. I love John Wick. I can watch John Wick all day. It's mindless of him just shooting stuff, weird ways of shooting stuff. Johnny said,
that's why I don't like it. It's mindless.
It's like I watched The Walking Dead. I watch these zombies come. I'm so happy when I see zombies. They make me jump.
Geez.
They make me jump.
I'm not a zombie fan either. I don't get the idea. I don't get why zombies are a threat to anybody. They're
I don't know, man, because they're sneaky. I look around the corner, zombies are there.
They're not sneaky. They're slow. They're stupid. They're rotting flesh, so you can smell them coming a mile away. I don't see where they're a threat. Now, give me an army of vampires. That's a threat.
Sometimes the zombie is a vampire, man. Like in that movie with Will Smith, they were like a mix of a vampire and a zombie.
I think somebody should clip Dom saying, "I'm so happy when I see zombies," with no context.
Oh my goodness! But
context.
Yeah, John. But John Wick, Dom. I watched the first one. I thought I have wasted 2 hours of my life, but everyone says that this is so good, I'm gonna watch the second one. So I did. I was like, okay, I still don't get it, but let's see what happens in the third one. So I watched the third one mostly because my girlfriend Halle Berry was in it, and she was kick-ass. But the rest of the movie was just a jumbled mess, and I was so unsatisfied. Yes, I'm going to see the fourth one only because I have to be informed about pop culture, whether I like it or not, and I do need to know how his story ends. I am a little bit invested in his story. So, but I hate the movies.
Johnny, I have no idea what's going on in them. I've watched 3 of them. I can't figure out why this clock buzzes and what's going on and things like that. But I love it, man. When John Wick's riding a horse and shooting stuff, I'm all in, man. Keanu Reeves kicks some butt. So
I've only seen the first one, and he had me at avenging his dog. Right? Like avenging the dog, and I was in. I was like, oh, like they hurt your dog? Like, yeah, kill him.
Yes, for one movie, that motivation works, but not for 4 movies.
I mean, he really loved the dog. He loved the dog a lot. A lot of people had to die because they were.
And I love the 2
Here's
shots.
the thing, John. I don't
shots.
think Johnny's a dog person.
Yeah, maybe he's not, Alexander.
But totally get it.
Oh, I am a dog person. I've got 2 of them that are the love of my life. But
Okay.
Hey, I just like that he shoots everything twice. I mean, he gets boom, boom. It's cool, man. You see, it's gore. It's overwhelming. It's ridiculous. Boom, boom, boom. He kicks butt, man. Give him a chance. John Wick. This is my John Wick. I got your back here on Clubhouse. Clip that. Okay, we're moving on. Not the smartest guys in the room. Somebody that is very smart. Our friend Heather, and she always guides us in the right way, in the right direction. Teaches us about algorithms and things like that. Heather, weigh in on all these. If you want to weigh in on John Wick, go ahead. But we are continuing around. Or video? Go on. What do you got for us?
Keanu Reeves stan over here. Love Keanu forever. So whatever movie he's in. Oh my god, and Constantine, that's another great movie. But I've been listening and I've made like 5 short form videos just while in this room. So yeah, and I just wanted to give everybody like a tip, I guess, because I do a lot of content that doesn't really, because I mean, I'm on both sides, I guess. I have a micro podcast where it's short form video and I'm talking to the camera. But then I'm on the other side of things where I work with restaurants and real estate where they really don't want to have a face to the brand. The owner doesn't want to be on camera. He owns a restaurant group, right? Like he doesn't have time for that. Like literally, he's dealing with like inspections and payroll and, all of that fun jazz. So I'm on the other side of it as well. And if you're using CapCut, definitely get that. But also, if you are using it, use the templates. I've been utilizing that more, and I'm able to streamline my short form video process. But like do templates and then save it to your phone and then find like a trending sound if that's like your goal. If you don't have like a face to the brand, that's what we're doing, because I do a lot of like restaurants and food and drinks and all that fun jazz. But if you are looking for like to get it's kind of like a short commercial, right? Like 15-second, gotta grab the person's attention. Definitely check out CapCut templates because they're awesome for short form video making.
So Heather, so clarify this. I take this CapCut, I load it on my phone. It's an app or something like that. And then whatever video I'm making, like let's say I got 50 videos on my phone, I can just add them right into the CapCut.
Yeah. And I mean, because if you go to CapCut, there's like the edit section, but then the second one over is the template. And there's actually content creators creating templates for other content creators. You can actually get paid to be a CapCut content template creator, which is awesome. So like every day they have like trending for you, for reels, TikTok, spring break, lyrics, velocity, memes, effects, celebrate, fandom. Like there's all these different templates and you literally just like pick it and then click use template, and then you can choose all the videos in your camera roll, and then it'll sync up to the sound that is provided. Or you can even just download it and you mute the video and use a trending sound over on whatever platform that you choose.
Got it. Heather, when you're on like TikTok, do you use templates? I'm just give me anybody that I'm saying like the templates that TikTok provides. You ever put your 10 pictures in there?
Well,
like
CapCut is owned by ByteDance, which is the parent company of TikTok. So that's why there's such a streamlined process over on TikTok. You'll see while you're scrolling on your For You page, you'll see in the bottom left above your caption, above your username, it says try out this template. So if you click on that, it takes you right over to CapCut and it takes you right to that template, and then you can create your video. But furthermore, if you just want to skip the whole like searching through TikTok, you could just go directly into CapCut and there's a template feed area. You just click on the bottom and it says template.
Thank you, Heather. And Alexandra, you mentioned that you were you left and were making short form videos right while you were doing this. I take that as such a compliment, and I leave rooms all the time where like somebody like Dr. Tachi or Billy Thorpe or somebody will say something, and I'm like, that's the smartest thing. I leave like instantly and go start like doing whatever they said. I'm like, why haven't I done that? So I hear you. That's okay. Not the smartest guys in the room. We do this every Wednesday. today we started in an echo chamber because we are not the smartest guys in the room. I don't know. Every week we try.
I think we might be able to blame that one on Clubhouse because all of the settings were right. I think there was a little glitch in the system, so I'm gonna blame that one on a software beyond our control, just because it makes me feel better.
Okay, I like that idea. And we're not going to edit it out. So if you watch the live stream on where we live stream this, Tom, we haven't talked about that lately. So we're going to get to Dr. Tachi in a sec because she's the queen of live streaming. But would you explain the live stream process? Because I am looking at Tom right now and he's handsome as ever. So explain that to us.
Thanks, Dom. Thanks. Appreciate that. Always appreciate the compliment. Yeah, so we live stream. We use a browser-based software platform called Restream, and we live stream this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, Clubhouse room. It's kind of all of those things simultaneously. We live stream it across multiple platforms. So Livestream has a really unique or cool feature. I should say it's not 100% unique, but it's a very cool feature that not only can you pick multiple platforms to stream on simultaneously, but whoever you invite into the live stream can also pair their platforms. So we are live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, all simultaneously, and we are on multiple pages on those platforms. So we're on my YouTube page, Dom's YouTube page, my Facebook page, Dom's Facebook page, my Twitter, I think Dom's Twitter also. So we're on multiple platforms simultaneously. It's a really cool feature. I have a lot of fun doing it. I know Dom does too. Do we get tons of views? No. On like right now we've got 2 people watching live. So that's cool too. Restream tells us. So we've got 1 person on Dom's YouTube channel watching us and 1 person on my my company Facebook page watching us. We don't get like a huge audience, but here's the benefit, right? Here's the benefit. These videos live forever. These live streams live forever on our YouTube channels, on our Facebook pages, on my LinkedIn page, right? There's Dr. Tachi's watching us on YouTube while she's in the Clubhouse room, right? So you guys can do that too. If you have the capability, you can see us live, right? And there we go. Jason72, the architect, is on YouTube also, right? So you can see us live while we are in the Clubhouse room with you at the same time. So if you are curious to see what we look like live, Dominick is just grabbing random stuff off the walls in his office and showing it to the camera. He's playing show and tell over there in Pennsylvania. But yeah, so it's a really cool platform. It's a lot of fun to do. It adds an extra dimension, and it also gives us more content, right? So like I said, these videos live forever on our platforms. They live forever on our Facebook, on our YouTube, on my LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Twitch, right? These videos don't go away when we're finished with the live stream. They live there. And having that extra content is a net benefit. We are also going to, one of these days when I have time, I've been a little bit busy this year, with getting married and all kinds of stuff. But we are also going to turn this into an audio podcast, and it'll be available on your favorite podcast platform as well. So yeah, that was kind of why we rebranded this Not the Smartest Guys in the Room, was part of that initiative. So one of these days I'm actually going to get around to putting up some podcast episodes on your favorite podcast app. So yeah, it's a multimedia assault. Really, this space, but it's because we want to bring it to as many people as possible, and we want to provide the content in a way that people enjoy listening to it. So if you're not on Clubhouse, but you want to listen to a long form podcast with 2 knuckleheads named Dom and Tom and a bunch of really smart people, then you can do that, right? Or if you want to watch us on Facebook and see all of Dom's action figures, on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever, you can do that too. So it's just about sort of meeting people where they are, giving people options, right? And maximizing what we're doing. right? We're here for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours on Wednesday mornings. And, we want to make sure we utilize this time. It's always a net benefit for us to be here with all of you. But we want to make sure that we're utilizing, this content that we're creating, in other ways, right? And really maximizing its impact. Because we think that you guys all have a lot of really important, intelligent, wonderful things to share. And we want to help share those things with a broader audience. And so that's why we do this the way we do. And that's why we live stream it on multiple platforms simultaneously. And that's all I have to say about that, in the words of Forrest Gump.
Tom, that was stinking beautiful. So well done, my friend. Okay, we are going to continue. Now you know what we do, why we do it. I decided, as of right now, whether you like it or not, I think I need to have show and tell every week. I'm going to show at some point these random things. I just showed you Captain Lou Albano, a Spider-Man, the Joker. So it's coming.
Dom, that's my show.
Well, I'll just show one thing, Johnny. Can I give an ode to you? And I'll say, in cereal box fashion, this week I'm going to show this. Oh, Johnny says no. Oh,
go for it.
All right. Okay. Ahmad, we're going. Let's go. We're going to go ladies first, and then we're going Dr. Tachi, and then to Ahmad. Dr. Tachi, you are a live streaming wizard. So hold on. We'll go. Okay. We'll go Ahmad first, since he came off. Ahmad, ask a question or give us have you made a video? You ever make a video?
Well, in fact, I made multiple videos in the past, but actually they didn't hit well as I wanted them to. And I think that, but I didn't care about the views or the likes. All I cared about is the service that I'm giving my audience, and whether I get 100 likes or 200 likes or but people thank me for the product or the service that I am giving them. And as long as I get these messages, they give me the motivation and the encouragement to do more. But I don't care about the views. But I have some of my friends, they like going on TikTok a lot, but the quality of their content is different than my content. They like to have a good setup, and they use also high resolution cameras, and they make it like a movie basically, and by that they attract a lot of audience. And there's other aspect they add to their videos, which is humor. They use humor in their videos because, as you know, that these days people like seeing short videos with a lot of humor, but also they add to it some kind of message along with the jokes. And so when I watch a video, I see humor, and but also I see there is a good message in it. So this is why I see that their videos get a lot of views than the videos that I make, and I think that there is some value to see here in making videos. And also, you should choose the right platform, because Instagram is no longer a platform that is no longer a platform where a lot of content creators like it because of the views and the likes. Yeah, and as you know that if you post a video or a reel on Instagram, maybe you will get like 500 views or 600. But if I post it on TikTok, maybe you will get 4,000. This is exactly what happened with my friend. He
Ahmad,
posted a video
Ahmad.
on.
So I definitely think so. Sometimes I'll post on all three of these platforms at one time, and it is never one over. Like one time it's TikTok, same video. The next time I get 2,100 views on YouTube on the same video. I got 10 on TikTok. The next time I get 2,100 views on something on Instagram that I got 50 on the other one. So I just wanted to say to you, stay the course, my friend. If you're putting out content that you believe in, if it's one view, it might be the most important view. It might be the view, like Tom was saying earlier, that might be the view that makes the difference. That might be the view that keeps somebody from hurting themselves that day. It might be the view that inspires them to go out and start their own podcast. And that was because of you. So you could, like, I have videos where me and my daughter are making slime that get over 100,000 views. And it was 10 seconds of us being completely goofy making slime. Okay. Say, yeah, I used the right music. I was it was quick enough. I used the right filter, whatever. That didn't mean shit compared to the time I made a difference. Compared to that time, like you said, those people coming up to you and saying, hey, Ahmad, thanks for that video you wrote the other day, man. So I'm just going to, on all those platforms, man, stay the course. All right, brother?
I will, of course, Dom. And it is a matter of consistency. You have to be consistent, of course. And you have to care about the message that you want to send to your audience. And as long as you are seeing some thanks and some praisement, and as long as you're seeing people saying, hey Ahmad, I liked what you posted yesterday, I liked what the video was all about, and that's okay, that's fine, that's give me a real a good feeling about myself. But when I compare myself to others, I see the opposite. I see somebody maybe has 40,000 likes or 500,000 views. And when I compare it to mine, maybe I will feel down, of course. I will feel sad or maybe frustrated. Why does he have that number of interaction, that high engagement rate, and why my videos are not getting the same as his? So like, you feel that sometimes when you see it, but I don't let that affect me. Of course, I stay my course, I stay focused on the message that I have, and it takes time, my friend, and you also have to work on your videos. When you see your videos are not getting as much attention, and you can, for example, if you are attention seeker, you can post a video and that.
Iman,
Yeah.
sorry, I just wanted to jump in because I feel like we're kind of going in a couple of different directions here. But at the end of the day, I think what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're saying is essentially like, create the content you want to create, and stay the course, right? Be consistent over time with the content that you create are really sort of the most important things to do. I agree with you. I think it's a slippery slope to kind of get into that that spiral of comparisonitis. Well, I just combined like two metaphors there. But it's like, don't get on that slippery slope of comparisonitis of measuring yourself against someone else, because it's not fair to you, right? It's not. It's like I say to people tell me when they get on Zoom calls with me, oh man, I wish I could look like you on Zoom. I wish I could do, put forward the kind of, visual presence that you put forward on Zoom or on in the virtual world. And I say, okay, I get that, but like, don't compare yourself to me. That's not fair to you. I've been professionally making things look good on camera for over 20 years, and you've just gotten into putting yourself on camera a couple of years ago when COVID hit. So like, don't compare yourself. Don't make unfair comparisons, right? So I think that's an important thing to remember for all of us, when you create content that is authentic to you, that will engage with your audience, with the people that you want to talk to, the people that share your values, right? The people that are important to you, and stay the course, and don't make unfair comparisons. Don't compare yourself to other people, because you're you, right? Be fair to yourself. I think that's important. So thanks, Ahmad. Thanks for helping us get that point out. I appreciate it. Dr. Tachi, my friend, tell us what you think on this topic. I know we were talking about live streaming, going into a long-winded explanation of how we live stream this. But tell us what you think about that. And, where we started initially with this room was 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, talking about different durations of video for different platforms, and how to best maximize the video content that we put out. So what are your thoughts on any and all of the above?
Good morning, everyone.
And zombies, Dr. Tachi. I want to know about how you feel about the zombies and John Wick too. Go on.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, I have to say congrats again. I'm so happy for you. So I'm going to probably run that into the ground. Congrats again on getting married. Also, I can't stand zombies, Dominick. I think they're a waste of skin. Literally a waste of skin. I can't stand any. I don't know why. I'm just like, okay, next. So no zombies for me. But you have my share of zombies. Enjoy. There are a couple of things. Also, this is like such a side note. So when you held up Spider-Man, Dom, I loved Spider-Man when I was little. And I was Spider-Man for Halloween twice. But the funny thing is, as soon as you held it up, it just reminded me that I was Spider-Man for Halloween, but I couldn't look at myself in the mirror with the mask because I scared the hell out of myself. So I could be Spider-Man, but I couldn't look at myself in the mirror.
Dr. Tachi, hold on. Was it homemade costume, or was it one of those ones with like the rubber band that pulled your face real tight?
It was the latter. It was the janky one that came in a box that would melt in the sun. It was those. So it was on the floor one time, and I was so scared I took a stick and flipped it over. But I could be Spider-Man, and he was my favorite, but I couldn't look at myself with a mask on. So I just had to share that. All right. Now, I love, Tom, that you also said, I love the terminology multimedia assault, because that's exactly what that is. I think if these platforms exist, there's no reason not to have them on the platform, because as was said, even if you're helping one person hears your message and it resonates with them, it's good. It's okay. It's not like you are spending a whole lot of time spinning your wheels and nothing is coming out of it, because it's an added extra. So for example, with LinkedIn, I stream to LinkedIn, but I have been flipping back and forth between that and Twitch. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But, LinkedIn is still seen by and large, even though they're trying to come away from being only this, they're seen as the professional platform, as the platform for resumes when you're trying to transition into another job or network. They're seen as a business app, even though they're trying to get away from it. So the things I do are not necessarily business. It can be interesting to folks who are in the media business, but it's not necessarily LinkedIn. That's not necessarily my audience, but I do it over there anyway, because somebody might see it and it's an extra added place to spread the message. So it doesn't hurt or cost me anything to add that as an extra. So I wanted to say also, in terms of the multi-streaming, I know, Tom, you and I had the conversation about why you all use Restream.io, and it's because it allows you, your guests, to stream to other platforms. Well, StreamYard got wind of that, and I'm sure you already know this, but if you all didn't know, StreamYard now also gives your guests the ability to stream to their platforms as well, because I'm sure they're all in competition. So they saw what Restream was doing, and now you have on all plans the ability, I think it might also be the free plan, you have the ability to let your guests stream to their platforms as well. Each guest can do up to 2 for a total of 6 platforms outside of that. And that brings me to the last part of this with that. So with StreamYard, for example, you to stream to more than 3 destinations, you are supposed to have the higher level plan, which I think is the pro. There's the basic and the pro, I think. So whatever the one that's like $50 a month is, or $49, you don't fool me, it's 50. So you're only supposed to be able to do 3 if you don't have that plan. However, we found a workaround, and so until they discover and stop it. So if you have another device and you sign in as a guest on that stream, then you have another 2 platforms that you can add, and you don't have to do that. So for the basic plan, you can then go in, just add another device, and then share it to whatever the platforms are. So that's a workaround for anybody who using StreamYard and wants to add more destinations without paying the extra. You can add another device and then stream to the other destinations. The only thing is, no, it does work. You will see the comments for most of them. All right, and that's what I have for you today.
Color me unsurprised that StreamYard got wind of what Restream was doing with pairing guests' channels and made that a feature on their platform as well. Because you're 100% right. They're all in competition with each other. And it makes sense. Like, that's a beautiful example of how, innovation and competition drives innovation, right? So I think StreamYard was the first player in the game. Restream came in and they raised the bar. Now StreamYard has come up to the level that Restream is, and is probably looking for opportunities to raise the bar in Restream. And they're gonna, the competition between the platforms is going to drive innovation and create more features for the users. So it's a good example of how competition really can drive innovation in a space. So the other thing I wanted to throw in real quick is just a term. I said before, multimedia assault, right? But the term that I like to use when I'm talking about, being present on multiple platforms and leveraging the content you're creating across multiple platforms is digital omnipresence, right? So it is important, and you should be looking to create, especially if you're a business or a brand, you should be looking to create digital omnipresence for yourself and your brand. So put that term in your back pocket and keep it in the back of your mind when you're thinking about where you should share stuff. The answer is, generally speaking, in as many places as possible, right? So digital omnipresence. Keep that in mind.
Tom, I think it's perfect. Well, I think Tom might have been segueing this right to you as somebody who knows what he does and has a digital omnipresence. So, John, are you mind sharing some of your secrets of omnipresent with the group here?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, man, because I see you're on your Facebook, and then you're on Clubhouse, and you have rooms, and you have clubs, and you have houses, and your business is really radio and podcast. So how do you manage it, the bandwidth, right? You only have and I know you're a married guy, so you gotta. And it's what I think you said. How many years you've been married?
21 years.
Okay, so you're able, and Tom's been married 1 week. So you're able to accomplish all this and remain a married man, seem pretty together, seem pretty happy. So any tips for all of us would be appreciated.
Yeah, I'd say, first of all, I don't waste time watching John Wick movies. So that's what the conversation was about when it first came in.
That's true. Come on. It's 11 o'clock at night. My kids are up. I'm like, you got to watch this. He's going down New York City on a horse. And this horse is about to kick him. I'm telling you, watch, this horse is going to kick him. Okay, go on.
And until recently, we'd never watched The Walking Dead. We started binge watching that. And then when Negan and King Ezekiel came on the scene, I bailed on it. I was like, this is what the heck?
Negan's great, man.
So
Negan
crazy.
is so cool. I want to cut my hair like Negan. Go on.
Here's what I tell people. It's about time management. So what I try to do is I try to shut off all my work weekdays, Monday through Friday, by 6 p.m. Tonight's the difference. I'm going to be teaching at a radio and television broadcasting school after work. But I try to shut everything off. And then by the weekends, I try to make that shut off time 1 o'clock. So I get all my editing done. I get everything done. And I focus on the audio only because radio is the number one distributor for my show, then podcast. And then social media is a huge way of generating digital traffic, which turns into revenue. So what I did before, and Tom and I have talked about this many times, is I used to do a lot of live streaming. I used to create a lot of videos, and I found out for me that was just adding one more task to the pile, and it was time consuming, and it didn't move the needle one bit. So what I'd say is time management. Stick with what works for you, and what produces results for you. The second thing, and this I think is so crucial because Tom was talking about it, other people were talking about it, the problem of comparing other people to what you do, comparing you to them. Remember, Joe Rogan has a full staff, and he also has a company that promotes his product. 80% of my time is on promotion on social media. 20% is producing the show. So when we look at it, that it's the vast majority is promotion. They have a full staff. I do not. And many of us don't. So if I spend time doing something that doesn't produce results, that's time I can never get back. That's time I don't get with my wife or talking to my kids, my daughters, whoever it might be. And all that is important to me. So I really pay attention to what produces results.
John, man, I think you cut out right at the end there, but I love this
phone call. You got it?
Okay. Yeah, man. Go on.
I don't know where it cut off. I just saying that's what I do. I really focus on a direct response to what produces results, what produces downloads of podcasts, what grows the social media, what doesn't, and those things. And the things that don't, I try to do less of. And that's the secret for me.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. And I salute that. I try to spend so much time with the family, so much time doing things with the kids, so much time in the community. There's a time of day where you guys aren't going to see me. Love you. I want to come to things going on and stuff like that. But once 5 o'clock hits, I mean, I got to take my daughter from track to lacrosse and try to attend and try to help out and try to be a good husband and spend time doing things together. That reality is I'm not like John, those things that make an impact. Well, those are the things that I'm going to commit to those. And I always figured like that when I was growing up, my dad owned a business, and he was gone a lot because he was working and stuff like that. But he always was able to make my game. Like I'd have a college game in Frostburg, Maryland, and I live in Pittsburgh, and he was in the snowplow business, and somehow, even though it was snowing, my dad made it there. And so I always thought like, damn, I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out how to make a living and try to live up to that standard. I don't know that I can or I will, but maybe even be a little better. And those are some of the hard stances. Sometimes when I remember when my son's a type 1 diabetic, and at 3 years old, he became diabetic. And I remember having jobs where I had to leave in the middle of the day to go give my son insulin shots at school. And well, that is how it's going to be. I was going to leave that job no matter what, whether it was sales, whether it was this or that, to give my son those insulin shots. That's what I had to do in my life. That is what it is. So John, appreciate the words you shared, man. Thank you. So let's keep this train rolling before I tell you another story and you guys get bored with me. Not the smartest guys in the room. Caleb, man, what's going on? I think that's Caleb. Let's see what human being. Caleb's going.
Whoa.
Yeah, Caleb, hold on. I'm reading your bio. Let me
my bad.
Let me read it. I got to meet this guy. I need to know what's going on here. Okay. Human being, check. Musician, I am not that. Audio audio addict. I got to figure out what that is. Paulie, man, this might be the smartest guy in the room. Okay, Caleb, man. So drop a tip, ask a question. You heard what we've been talking about. Go on.
I'm sorry to keep jumping in, but you're cracking me up, man. That was funny. I definitely am not the smartest guy in the room. Let's get that clear right off the bat. That is not me. Yeah, I got to say, holy crap. Okay, so I don't know how long I've been in this room, but like the amount of time I've been in here, one of the first things that comes to my mind is kind of like an old sort of like Buddhist adage of, you know, like when the student is ready, the master will appear. Like, I seriously feel like I've been hanging out in a freaking masterclass with you guys. Like the amount of stuff you guys are talking about, like I'm in a situation in my life where like I'm, you know, kind of like Tom, like I've worked in the like the you know, film TV world for a while, but like I'm in a place where like I'm just a number of different transitions are happening in my life like all at the same time. So it's like borderline overwhelming, but at the same time it's also like, all right, man, like this is an opportunity, let's lean into it, you know, rock and roll. And anyway, that's kind of leading into like focusing more and more on like content creation. So like I cannot tell you, like like everybody in here, everyone that's spoken, like seriously, I cannot tell you how I don't know if I can curse or not. I just generally curse, but I just like self-edited myself because I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can drop an F-bomb or not. But I genuinely appreciate it, man. You guys are fucking awesome. I really dig it. And yeah, that's it. So cheers. Thanks.
Hey, Caleb, we appreciate the kind words. And so I just wanted something I picked up on real quick. So I'm checking out your bio, fast bio. And then I clicked on your Instagram and Twitter, and there were no posts yet, at least from what I'm seeing. So one of the things that I would say early on, if you're thinking about what should I post, and you might be in that, you might have 1,000 bits of content that you haven't posted yet. One of the things that I would say is like minds, meaning if you haven't really formed, okay, what I'm comfortable saying yet, commenting, sharing content of like minds. So you said you were in the movie business, you might, you know, or film or whatever. Hey, here's this article on this. I think XYZ. Here's this word from Tony Robbins. I think XYZ. Here's a video Martin Scorsese posted about his mom being in video, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think for somebody starting to share content, that's the lowest hanging fruit. So that, and not for me, that's where I would go. Then the other thing is point of view, meaning where are you in the world today? I want to see that. Let's see. Does he say where he's at? Let's see. No, human being. Now I got to go back to this profile. Hold on here. Human being, that word audio. Okay. Student of Tibetan Buddhism. Okay. So I wonder, student of Tibetan Buddhism. Boy, that's interesting.
Tibetan, Dom. Tibet.
Tibet. That's
country.
Come on, man. That's what I said.
It's not what you said.
Yeah, close enough. Delete this replay. Okay, so anyway, man, that's where I would start. So, Tom, do you want to add in on that, or anybody else, and give Caleb a tip or a thought? So, flash if you do, but we'll go to Tom first. Go.
Yeah, man. I think when it comes down to the kind of content you should create, or looking for inspiration, I mean, one, look at what you tend to gravitate towards, and then start examining why you gravitate towards it. Right? What about it is appealing to you? You know, I fell off of it several months ago. I have said here several times I'm going to get back on the horse. I promise you I'm going to do it. But last year. For most of last year, I did a vlog, a daily vlog about my training, right? And I talked about my training. I talked about other stuff simultaneously, or like occasionally, not simultaneously. Occasionally, I talked about other things that I had going on in my life. I really enjoyed doing the vlog. I like vlogs. I like those little peeks into people's lives, what they've got going on, the things that inspire them, the things that are interesting to them. Like that appeals to me. And so that's why I wanted to create it. It also, I kind of hacked or created a very simple way for myself to execute it so that it was a really light lift in terms of time and effort and energy. And that I was able to do it in literally just about 10 minutes a day is all I spent on it. I got great feedback from it. So, you know, that's something I'm going to get back into doing. I just have to kind of peel the Band-Aid, rip the Band-Aid off, and actually start doing it again. And then I'll get into that routine. But that's what I would say is look for things that inspire you, and what you gravitate towards, and then use those to inform the kind of content you create. And if anybody else has something they want to add, you know, quickly before we go ahead. Go ahead, Ahmad. Real quick, Ahmad.
I just want to say before I leave that I know that I don't come here often, but I want to say something to what Tom has said earlier about recording the live stream, saving it so others can hear it. This is exactly what I am doing sometimes. Like when I'm feeling bored, I just put on my headsets and go to Dominick channel on YouTube and choose the recorded live stream, and then I click it, and then I sleep while hearing it. And this is so one of the benefits of having a recorded live stream. So this is what I wanted to say.
Hey, man.
I enjoy listening to it, by the way.
Thank you, Ahmad. So we can be, what do they call it? My daughter's always listening to that. It'll be like somebody like put in ASMR or something where it's like weird sounds that put people to sleep. So
yeah, dude. Yeah, it's ASMR.
Yeah.
So I wanted to chime in before you guys.
Jason, you're next, man. Go on. Do your thing.
I was waiting patient. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. You're VIP, and I go in this room. I go in Jason's rooms. If you've never been in Jason's room, he'll talk about anything, and he's always got a hot take. So go on, man. What's up?
No, I also use Restream, and I'm glad, Tom, that you talked about it. And I don't really want to take too long. I'll be really brief about it. I like your setup overall, and I see it. The only thing I haven't figured out is how to take the club deck view and put it into the Restream. So just a quick question, is that an RTMP format that you've had to figure out? Because when I tried to look through Restream about how to marry the two, they use StreamYard as a reference, but Restream, I couldn't find any information how to marry. Like when you look at your YouTube, you see who's live on Club Deck or Clubhouse all in the same visual. So if you want to answer that, it's great. If not, I'm still in the search, but I also do Restream, and the only tip I'll add on Restream, have the highest capacity internet connection hardwired in to get a great picture and a great sound so that there's no jumbling. That was my tip, but I was asking about how Tom marries the club deck view or the Clubhouse view into his YouTube and all other displays.
Yeah, happy to answer that. It's very straightforward. So there's a piece of free software called OBS.
Oh, you use OBS. That was the key.
So I use a window capture on OBS, and then I have a cell phone cut out like PNG with a transparency where the phone screen should be, right? So that's why you see like the hand holding the phone. That's how I kind of put the club deck image in the phone. Right. And then I just use the OBS virtual camera into Restream. And then the trick to have, because obviously I have my camera picking up my image, and then I also from the same computer have the OBS stream going in. And the trick to doing that is just having multiple browser windows open. So if I have one browser window open that is feeding in my camera, and I have another browser window open on the same computer, same browser that's feeding in.
I figured that's
OBS.
what you did. Yeah. So valuable information. You know what, Tom? I'd encourage you to set up classes just how to do this and make that extra. I know you're busy with all the things that you do. You put a great package together, the way that it looks, the way that it sounds. So, definitely kudos on the tech and the know-how, because, there are so many content creators that want to do exactly the same thing. And they're trying to figure out, not everyone has the time to be like really dive in, but I would encourage just a seed to plant, maybe develop some of these classes of how to do this and sell it, because I think people would be willing to buy in. Honestly,
Thanks,
it's revenue for you and everybody. So Yeah, but I agree with everything that you guys have said. I don't look for attention now no more. I look to make my great story that I enjoy. If I enjoy it, I know others who enjoy my company will enjoy it as well. That's why they talk to me or they want to listen. So I'll end with that. And thanks, guys, so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Caleb, I know you were you wanted to jump in a minute ago. You flashed after I talked initially. So
No,
yeah, feel free.
72 the architect, dude. I was saying totally seconded. Retweet, man. I totally retweet. Like, Tom, yes, make a class out of this, man. They're like, technical prowess is a difficult thing to come by. Like, let's go.
Hey, I want to tell you guys that about 2 years ago, I went to one of Tom's classes he had. We were like, it was like early in the pandemic or something, and he basically was teaching people how to look better on Zoom. And you see Tom, if you ever watch the live stream, he always looks great. And at first I had like one eye here and one eye down here, so I'm not there yet, but I saw a lot of things Tom does and I watch it and see. So yeah, man, I third that after Jason and Caleb. Tom, get on those courses, have at it. And I just wanted to say, I noticed, I saw Tom use a pillow. I'm always freaked out about my posture. I was on CBS one morning, and once I got home and watched it, I looked like I was the hunchback, and I was so depressed about it. I was like, oh man, how did I not know, like, to set up straighter? I should have been on the edge of the chair. I should have done 1,000 things. I'll tell you a sneak. I see Tom has a pillow, and I got a pillow. So once I saw this guy I'm stealing his ideas, man. So go. That's all I have to say. Go on, Tom. And then we got Dimple.
Yeah, I got a little pillow in my lower back here, just because the angle of the chair that I sit in isn't the best, and so I just throw a little pillow in my lower back, helps me sit up a little bit straighter, so I'm not kind of leaned back away from the microphone. Kind of keeps me in good posture on camera, and makes it more comfortable. Honestly, means that I can lean on the pillow rather than kind of having to sit. Kind of maintain posture all by myself for the whole time that we're on this stream, or for all the hours I spend on Zoom, more broadly. And to everyone's point, many of you know I do have a book coming out in September on my strategy that I've developed called Legendeering. The subtitle of that book is the brand new but tried and true video strategy to humanize your business. And I am going to be putting together workshops, a workshop series that we're going to be doing around that book prior to the launch. The goal is to launch those workshops, start those workshops before the book. They're going to be monthly. Definitely looking to pack people into them. And it's going to be, a really good breakdown of sort of the theory, the application, and then operationalizing that strategy for you, your brand, your business, to really help folks that can't afford to hire somebody like me to manage it for them. So we're going to have those. Those are going to be paid workshops, but we're going to have those coming up. Probably early summer is when we're going to start those. And everybody that registers for that pays for those workshops is going to get a copy of the book. And if you register for
where do we register and where do we find this?
I haven't put it up yet. I'm just sharing it now. But I will when the time comes, when we've got everything organized and there's a registration page open. But we're probably going to start it in June, is the thinking. And everybody that registers will get a copy of the book. And if you register before the actual official release of the book, you'll get a pre-release copy of the book. So you'll get the book before anybody else. But that's something we have coming forward. So I appreciate you guys mentioning that. Nice validation for me. Sorry, say that again, Jason.
I said, count me in. I'll buy. No problem. I believe I've gotten to know you for months. I'll advocate and I'll promote. I'll spread your word, man. If that's to be of service.
Hell yeah, Jason, go on.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I appreciate that immensely. And yeah, so when the time comes, I will make sure, we'll announce it here. We'll let everybody know here. I really appreciate everyone's support, but the goal is to humanize the world of business. And I need a lot of help to do that. So the more the merrier. Let's get on the bandwagon and let's shift things around so the world of business treats us like the human beings we are. That's the goal. So,
Right on, Tom. Right on, man. Building community here. All right, we are going to meet our friend Dimple, and Eric are here. Then we've taken up enough of your time, so we're going to get a tip or a question from Dimple, or a question from Eric. I did want to say, just as we talked about legendeering, zombies, we talked about a lot of stuff today. Video creation. I wanted to point out, do Caleb and Jason look cool with these sunglasses on or what? I need a new profile picture with John. I'm going to get a profile picture with sunglasses on like Jason.
We really
Caleb.
represent the men in black. It's just a social disguise. So there it is.
And then I'm going
to cut
my hair
aviators.
like Negan.
Dominic, you have to buy aviators. You can't have the plastic, Miss John Smith from Matrix. It has to be the aviators so that you can really be a part of that organization.
I wear some aviators, except mine are all like $5 because I lose them every time I jump in the water, jump in the lake. They always fly off my face, or when I'm riding my bike, I run over them. So that's what I'm gonna do. Get some glasses like that, and then John, I'm gonna get my hair cut like Negan from Walking Dead because we were talking about that, and then I will officially be cool. All right, Dimple. I'm sorry, don't let me sidebar with nonsense too long, or we'll be here all day. Oh, look at that. Yeah, cool picture down there. So, Dimple, would you like to share a tip on video or content creation, or ask a question? Go on, my friend. You always have something interesting to add.
Yeah, I guess I'll share 2 tips. As far as podcasting, 2 tools that I discovered recently that I really am loving is one actually a friend told me about is podcast.adobe.com/enhance. So you can take your current audio and it will totally fix your audio, and it's going to make it sound like studio quality sound, even if you have like crackling noises in the background from your guest and other things. It's amazing and it's free. And then the other tool that I'm loving to use lately too, it's called Decipher, DECIPHR.ai. And it's another free tool that it will actually do your transcript for you with timestamps. And I think it's amazing. And then I don't know if you guys have ventured over to Clapper or not. If not, I'll share my link over there to try it out. But Clapper is not new, it's been around, but everyone's going there now. Think of like this, think of Instagram and TikTok, Facebook groups, and Clubhouse all in one place, and with the ability to monetize that you can earn your way up to, and you can even sell your stuff on there. So I did check it out. I even did a room in it the other day, and I have to say, like, it could be the next, one of the big things. Like, there's definitely potential there. And I love how their groups are, because with their, like, here we have houses, right? But over there we have groups, and over there with their groups, like, you can, like, the engagement, everyone gets the messages, and you can even send audio messages. You can send screenshots. You can even post a link to your video so more people can support. And a lot of people, though, like, what they're saying is they're getting a lot of views. Even they're growing faster than, I guess, TikTok. So I put my link in there. If you guys want to sign up for it, you can sign up. And you can even create your own community on there. When you create your account, you can join my community if you want, but just check it out. The feed, don't go to like the explore page. The feed and discoverability is crap right now, but what's amazing about it is that your content, like, basically go to people that you already know, see who they're following, and you'll recognize other people. You can find them that way and follow them. And then also there's some people that have been on there a year and a half or 2 years. You can follow them because they actually know how to use the app really good. I'm going to do a podcast episode on this like later today, so I might upload it tomorrow probably. And you guys could check it out. I'll actually put it in my group in there. So if you guys want to be part of the group, you can submit a request, and I'll be adding people in like every day or two. So thought I'd share that with you guys if you didn't already know about it.
Dimple, thanks. And I was thinking early on today when we were talking about how much bandwidth. Some people, they can handle 1, 2. Some people can't handle a half of 1. Some people are looking for more. So this Clapper, appreciate you sharing that. And we will get on, check it out. And like Tom mentioned earlier, you got to see which of these intention, I think it was the word you used, Tom, like be intentional when you're on each of these apps and know, okay, here's why I'm doing it. Here's the reason. Here's what I'm looking to do. And this, like to John Jay's point, this fits in my time. This gets me the return that I was looking. He was basically saying earlier, Tom, I think you stepped away, the time spent versus return. Really an ROI, and looking at the ROI. The ROI doesn't always have to be money. I mean, what if you just like hanging out with all these epically cool people like we have in the room right now? Well, then it made my day a little better, so, or maybe it was because I jumped in a room and I learned about, a better way to putt or whatever, so it's not always, a monetary thing. It can be other reasons why you jump in. You just enjoy it. All right, now we're going to, before we close, before Tom takes us home, I like to look at everybody's pictures real close. Dimple, lovely picture. Dr. Tachi rocking the hat. John Jay, the handlebar. Heather looks like a TEDx behind her. Tom's handsome as ever. But the smile on this guy, Eric, man, that's $1 million smile. So Eric, man, give us a tip or ask a question, and then Tom's going to take us out. Thanks, my friend.
Hey, thanks. Hey, my parents didn't even have to pay for that smile. So
natural, impressive.
There you go. That one showed up on its own. Now me, my kids, I'm paying for that smile twice over, I think. Tom, I'm back ending. Build the course and I will come. Build it expensive and I will pay. The thing I hate is whenever I sign up for a course that kind of bumps into this is halfway through, I realized I don't have the right cable. I don't have the right software. I don't have the right thing signed up. And so I get stalled. So the only request that I make is you send me a box with everything that I need in it or a downloadable that I can order it 3 weeks ahead of time. So when you start teaching me how to implement all of these strategies and hook up all these cables and have all these cameras pointing in the right direction, that I get to go dive right in without missing a piece of technology, tools, whatever. So build it. I will pay for it twice. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, it's that's part of the reason why I'm not quite ready to announce yet. Is we're in the early stages of this, kind of putting the course together, figuring out exactly how we're going to implement. The goal is to make it so that you don't have to buy anything physical to participate in the course. It's really more about, because the legendeering is an overarching strategy that can be applied to any size business or brand, from one person to a 20,000 person company, right? It works across all sizes of companies, and the goal is to create a workshop that helps people who, solopreneurs, early stage entrepreneurs, startup companies, nonprofit folks, small business owners, mom and pop shops, things like that. People who can't afford to hire someone like me, who don't have a 5 or 6 figure budget for video strategy, right? To create this kind of content for them, to provide them the know-how and the understanding to start doing it on their own. Right. That's really the goal behind it. And that's what legendeering is all about. So it's sort of, the book is like two parts kind of theory, and then one part operationalizing that theory. And the course is going to sort of mimic that. So it's going to be a 3-part workshop. And it's going to be theory for application for parts 1 and 2, and then operationalizing it for part 3. So that's the plan, but you should be able to do it. The goal is to kind of give you the skills you need to get started with literally the phone that's already in your pocket, right? So we don't want to make it a high bar for people to have to, spend $10,000 on equipment to get started. We want you to be able to teach it in a way so that you can get started with what you already have at your disposal, right? We want it to be as accessible as humanly possible. So that's what we're putting together. That's what the book's all about. That's the direction I'm going in with my brand and my business. That's I believe the future of business communications, and that's what I'm out to change. Is I'll roll right into my wrap up, right? So here's where I am, right? I believe that the way businesses communicate with their audiences, with their customers and clients, is fundamentally broken. And I believe it's fundamentally broken because over the last 40 or so years, businesses have been taught to think about human beings as data points on a sales report, as dollars and cents on a P&L, to dehumanize us and to think of us as essentially roadblocks between the business and the money in their customers' pockets, right? So they don't think of us like human beings. And I think that needs to change. Right. I think that is the root cause of a lot of discontentment between the way people think of businesses and inability and difficulty a lot of businesses have in connecting with customers. And so what I want to do is I want to shift that. Is one of the reasons why I use the term community all the time when I talk about who you're talking to, when I talk about your audience. It's because when you think of consumers, when you think of customers, you think of numbers, right? You think of dollars and cents, right? When you think of community, you think of people. And that's what needs to change. Businesses need to think of their customers and clients, the communities that they seek to serve, like the human beings they are, and treat them accordingly. And that's what Legendeering is designed to do. It's designed to help businesses shift their perspective and build communities around their brands, which will lead to long-term success for the business. Because at the end of the day, if you develop and create relationships based on humanistic treatment of each other, right, then you're going to maintain those relationships over a long period of time, right? You've created or laid a foundation for sustainable long-term business success, right? Rather than short-term profit for shareholders and investors, right? Short-term investor profit above all else, which is the culture that we're sort of in with business right now. And that's what I want to shift. So I'm going to need a boatload of help to make any of that a reality. And I appreciate so much you guys saying that you're on board, you're interested, that you want to help, because at the end of the day, this is going to take a movement. It is not going to be something that I can do on my own. So I thank you all very much. As always, I thank all of you for being here. And I'll just leave you with this. When in doubt in your business, when you are thinking about customers and clients, just make that little shift and start thinking about them as a community, right? Start thinking about the folks you interact with as a community and treating them like the human beings that they are, the way you would want to be treated. Just keep that in mind going forward. So thanks everybody for being here. Dom, thank you so much for your work co-hosting and sharing some of your action figure collection with us on camera today on the live stream. If you missed it, go check it out. You'll get to see some of Dom's favorite action figures he's got floating around in his office. As always, we couldn't do this without you guys because we are not the smartest guys in the room. So thanks for being here this week. And we will see you all next Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Not the smartest guys in the room. Thanks, everybody. Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.